Your love is so raw and confronting that a normal person would have ran away a long time ago. Most people would have hidden under rocks, buried themselves in distractions, or escaped into the noise of this world just to avoid feeling something this deep. Because this kind of love does not merely touch the surface, it reaches into the hidden chambers of the soul and awakens everything that was sleeping inside. Your love does not allow mask to survive. It tears through illusions, it exposes wounds, it confronts fears I didn't even know I carried within me. And somehow, despite how terrifying it can feel at times, my soul still recognizes it as home. That is how I know this connection was never ordinary. Because ordinary love does not shake the spirit like this. Ordinary love does not awaken the soul in silence. Ordinary love does not feel like heaven itself, reached down and placed two hearts in front of each other and whispered, "Now grow." Only God can orchestrate this level of soul connection. Only Father God can take the credit for something so divine, so consuming, and so is spiritually transforming that it changes two people from the inside out. There were moments I questioned everything, moments I wanted to run, moments where the intensity of loving you felt too sacred to even hold in human hands. But every single time I tried to understand this connection logically, heaven reminded me that some things are meant to be felt, not explained. Because this love speaks in ways words cannot. It speaks through energy, through silence, through longing, through dreams, through unspoken understanding, through the invisible pull that keeps bringing two souls back together, one another, no matter what, no matter how far life tries to separate them. And maybe that is what frightens people about real love, not the closeness, but the exposure. Because real love strips away ego, it destroys pride, it humbles the spirit, it reveals who we truly are underneath the wounds, underneath the pain, underneath the versions of ourselves we created to survive this world. Your love confronted. Your love confronted every broken part of me that still needed healing, not through force, but through presence. And sometimes I wonder if heaven allows certain souls to meet because they are meant to awaken each other, not to destroy one another, not to possess one another, but to remind each other what unconditional love truly feels like in a cold world that has forgotten how to love with purity. This connection feels ancient, like our souls knew each other long before our eyes ever met in this lifetime, like God wrote our names beside each other before we even understood what love was. Because nothing about this feels accidental. Even the pain had purpose, even the distance carried lessons, even the silence transformed something within me. And despite every fear, every storm, every emotional battle, my soul still reaches for yours naturally, not from obsession, not from attachment, but from recognition. There is something holy about loving someone in a way that transforms your spirit instead of feeding your ego. That is why I no longer question why this love feels so intense. Heavenly things were never meant to feel small. And perhaps that is why weaker hearts run from connections like this, because divine love demands honesty. emotional maturity, vulnerability, accountability, and spiritual growth. It asks people to remove their armor and stand before one another without pretending. The kind of exposure terrifies people who are used to surviving instead of truly loving. But somehow, despite all the fear, despite all despite how confronting this connection can be, my soul still thanks God for you because your love awakened parts of me that were dying silently. Your existence reminded me that love is not supposed to feel performative. Your existence reminded me that love is not supposed to feel performative or shallow. Real love reaches the soul before it ever reaches the lips. And even when words fail me, and even when words fail me, even when silence takes over, there is something inside my spirit that continues to whisper your name with reverence. Not because you are perfect, but because God used this connection to transform me. Some people meet and simply pass time together, but there are rare connections that become spiritual mirrors, reflections sent by heaven to help two souls evolve. That is what this feels like, a divine encounter written by God Himself. And if heaven truly brought us together, then no amount of fear, distance, confusion, or human weakness could ever erase what was written spiritually before we arrived here. Because what comes from God carries eternity within it. This is not quiet love. It doesn't sit gently in the background of my life. It moves through me like something alive, something awake, something undeniable. It reaches every sense I thought I had already numbed. It reaches every sense I thought I had already numbed. There are parts of me I didn't even know were still buried beneath everything I survived, beneath the trauma, beneath the silence I learned to wear like protection, beneath the emotional distance I called strength. And yet, somehow, your presence dissolves all of that. Not forcefully, not violently, but like warmth meeting ice. Slow, unavoidable, transformational. With you, I feel everything again. The way my breath changes when I think of you, the way my heart responds before my mind even catches up, the way my nervous system, once guarded and alert, begins to soften as if it recognizes something it forgot in another lifetime. It is as if my body remembers you before my thoughts can explain you. And that realization shakes me because I didn't know love could feel like awakening instead of escape. Because I didn't know love could feel like awakening instead of escape. I didn't know someone's essence could move through my system so deeply that it starts undoing every layer I built just to survive the world. But this is what your love does. It doesn't ask me to perform. It doesn't ask me to hide. It doesn't ask me to be anything other than present. It calls out every part of me that was shut down, the sensitivity I buried, the softness I protected, the vulnerability I locked away so no one could misuse it again. And now it's all rising, not in chaos, but in recognition. Like my soul is saying, finally, I remember. There is something about your essence that feels like home in a way I cannot logically explain. It awakens me in layers. not just emotionally, but spiritually, physically, energetically. My awareness expands in your presence. My silence becomes meaningful instead of empty. My heartbeat feels like it is syncing with something greater than myself. And suddenly, I am no longer surviving alone. I'm experiencing it fully, deeply, honestly. And it scares me a little, not because it feels wrong, but because it feels real. Because real love doesn't let you stay asleep, it pulls you into awareness. It brings every hidden nerve of your being back to life. It brings every hidden nerve of your being back to life. And I realize now, maybe this is what transformation feels like when it wears the face of love, not destruction, not confusion, but awakening. And somehow, even in the intense of all of it all, my soul still lives. My soul still leans toward you, not out of need, not out of fear, but out of something far more ancient. For that reason, Dr. Jordan Peterson, I love you more. I love you more. I give you my peace, love, joy, and harmony. God bless your heart, and peace be with you as always.